The latest data shows that between 2010 and 2023, identification as LGBTQIA2S plus 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 has
Mm.
almost tripled among the student body at Ivy League's Brown University. 38% of the student body at Brown
No.
identify as LGBTQ plus plus plus. That's 5x the national rate, according to the. It's more than that.
More than that. Right?
Although it's getting close, I guess. Yeah, sharp growth at Brown. Interesting. Wasn't Brown University the site where a study was done that concluded that there was a social contagion aspect to the LGBTQ plus identification, and then that study was later repudiated by the president at Brown because, of course, it reached a politically unpopular conclusion and just dissipated into the ether, shall never be talked about again.
Well, more statistics show that homosexuality, they said only 22.9% of the students describe themselves as homosexual. That's down from 46%. So maybe this is the new gay. People are shifting from to
Well,
trans. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a lot more complicated than that. You're being very myopic in your discussion
Oh,
of gender identity, and we can't
excuse
have
me.
that. For example, you have to really break this out, get down into the weeds on this, like how many are para boys versus demi boys.
Oh, that's right.
You know,
That tutorial we played a while ago. It's been
well,
a while though, Dan.
well, I mean, just to keep you updated, because this is, it's just science. Well, made up science. Demi boy versus para boy. The difference between the two. This gentleman, who is now reportedly on the short list to replace Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern as a head football
Stop
coach,
it.
explains.
What's the difference? Yow! Paraboy versus Demi Boy. Hey. People who identify as paragender feel as though their gender is made up of a dominant gender and a minor gender or genders. And people who identify as paraboy feel as though their dominant gender is male, while their minor gender could be any gender and genders, but their dominant is male. Versus people who identify as demi-boy, who feel as though part of their gender is male and the other part could be any or multiple genders. The only difference between paraboy and demi-boy is people who identify as paraboy know that their dominant gender is male, while people who identify as demi-boy feel as though their gender is partly male. People who identify as demi-boy may feel that part of their gender is male, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is the dominant gender. Versus people who are paraboy who know that their dominant gender is male. Not every paraboy and demi-boy are the same as other paraboys and demi-boys, and they may identify as any way that they want to identify. But we love all our paraboy and demi-boys! Yeah.
Got it? I hope that clears things up. That's a young man, if he doesn't continue in pursuing head coaching positions in the Big Ten, maybe Ivy League University president someday for him. Bright future. Peter Wood is the president of the National Association of Scholars. He joins us now. Peter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me again.
This is just sort of my supposition, but I believe at Northwestern, 100% of the men on campus either identify as paraboy or demi-boy. So this is really interesting
He's an
development.
alum.
The composition, this postdates me though.
Yes.
Interesting development going on at our institutions of deep thinking, the identitarian feature of the student body.
Well, I think that part of what happens here is that masculine men rightly decide that college is not for them, at least for those colleges. There's an invitation to join in the gender confusion stuff, but it's very unappealing to most men, and it's certainly putting the women on campus in a bad position too, in that they generally are heterosexual and want to date men, probably not demi-men or semi-men or
Pair of
whatever
boys.
they are,
Yeah.
pair of boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably so. Although, they're finding ways to cope. I mean, Brown University has seen students identifying as other sexual orientations in the umbrella there increased by 800% in the last 14 years. That's a big increase. It's weird. The self-selection that's going on, or maybe there's something else afoot.
Well, self-selection, and you used the term a moment ago, social contagion. Brown has always been a place that has been particularly susceptible to fads and enthusiasms and sort of the keeping up with the Joneses of left-wing activism. And now you're not anybody if you haven't developed a queer identity of your own, whether you're identifying with cats or hippopotami or whatever it is. You have to have something that distinguishes you as distinctly weird and therefore normal.
All right, trying to pull ourselves out of this spiral and talk globally about post-secondary education. Your commentary on the Supreme Court's decision in the Harvard admissions case and what you think the implications will be in the Ivy League, but not limited to the Ivy League. I mean, we're talking mainly about elite college, quote unquote elite colleges, meaning they don't accept very many applicants. I guess that's what makes them elite. Certainly not their curriculum. But what impact will it have? Will it be substantial in terms of the quality of education at the post-secondary level or not?
Well, certainly not in the short term. All of these colleges and universities have declared their determination to find ways around the Supreme Court decision, so they will continue to admit substandard students in the name of trying to advance equity, diversity, inclusion, and I think they will succeed at that for the short term. That probably means that there's a lot more litigation in the future as groups that are at the losing end of that spectrum file further lawsuits, and the Supreme Court has to weigh in again and again to say, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. But American higher education at the elite level is absolutely fixated on its idea of diversity, not sort of real diversity of thought or opinion, but it's make-believe diversity of skin color or ethnicity, and that is what they're going to continue to do no matter what Justice Roberts and the majority of the court had to say. That doesn't mean that this is a useless decision by any means. It just is not going to transform higher education immediately. In the longer term, there's some possibility. Certainly, Harvard is going to have to try harder to hide what it's doing, and there are ways to do that. Some of them are right out in the open now, eliminating standardized tests as a admissions requirement is basically a way to hide the evidence that they're admitting people on a double or triple standard. They will continue to find ways to divert scholarship money preferentially to blacks and Hispanics. It's all going to be in play, and the organs of opinion sharing in higher education, like the Chronicle of Higher Education and Inside Higher Ed, are just filled with how-to articles. This is the best way to avoid that noxious law. Is the theme of the day, or the week, or the month, or the year for higher education.
But isn't the world going to be watching Harvard to make sure that they admit more Asians come the fall, or how are they going to, skirt tail around this?
I believe that Harvard will admit more Asians in the fall. Nothing like the number that would be admitted were they playing the game straight, but enough to be able to boast to the public that, see, we've got it. We're moving from 22% Asian to 25% Asian, something like that. We'll have to wait and see what it is. There was a earlier version of this same game played out at Yale in the early 1990s when the Justice Department came down on Yale for discriminating against Asians. And in one giant leap, Yale went from something like 16% to 25%. Those aren't the exact numbers, but it was that sort of thing, and got the Justice Department off their back. So I think that's the way this is going to go. But who believes that today's Justice Department is going to enforce the Supreme Court's ruling? If anything, they will be a partner in trying to subvert the ruling.
This other piece that you wrote over the Spectator is very interesting. Forget thinking about Big Ten or SEC, whether they go to college or go to work. Go to college, but set sail. Elaborate.
Well, I had a conversation with several of my colleagues along the lines of, if we had a whole lot of money, what one thing could we do that would rescue some students from the blight of contemporary education? My off-the-cuff suggestion was, well, we could rent a ocean liner and recruit a couple hundred students who are willing to make the sacrifice of perhaps 2 years of their lives and set sail with no access to social media, just cut off from the rest of the world, with teachers that are willing to commit to this experiment as well, although you could pick up new ones at every port, and see if a set of steps that isolates the students from the bad trends in American higher education and gives them intensive education in the things that really matter. When they come back to port after 2 years, wouldn't they have better education than most students who spend 4 years or 5 years struggling with the disgracefully scattered curricula and the ideological domination that now are the standard of American higher ed? Just a thought experiment. Of course, if some billionaire wants to come along and take me up on the experiment, I'd be delighted.
You're ready to set sail. Yeah.
It could be a reality show.
All
Sell it on
aboard.
Salem.
Yeah, that's not bad, actually. Yeah, that's not bad. 2 years at sea, learn in lieu of 2 years on the land, and at U of I or someplace. It's interesting. I like it. It's University of Austin is one concept. Peter Wood's Marine University is another. Peter Wood, president of the National Association of Scholars. Peter, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
When life ends, your legacy begins. Ensure your legacy lives on at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, with 47 locations throughout Cook and Lake counties. Take advantage of 0% financing, lock in today's prices, and safeguard yourself against rising inflation. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
All right, for years now, you've heard about Turnkey offering more than just managed IT services. Now they're stepping up their game, offering even more business solutions to help you navigate the day-to-day hurdles and basically to help you grow, to help you make more money. Do you have a long-term strategy such as identifying new revenue streams, growing your customer base, or increasing your bottom line? Then you have to get in touch with Turnkey because they can help. Maybe it's a short-term problem like an employee leaving abruptly, filling a position you've had open for months. Maybe you need a shift supervisor, a part-time CFO, an IT guy, a temporary general manager. Guess what? Turnkey can help. Whether it's a seasonal problem or a long-term need, Turnkey's consulting staff has years of experience in nearly every business function. And for a limited time, Turnkey will provide a free consultation to look at your situation and see what it would take to resolve it. Go to turnkey.pro and learn more. The pros at Turnkey share your values, and they're Chicagoland small business champions. Visit turnkey.pro to book your appointment today. That's turnkey.pro.
This is Jerry Boyer for townhall.com. A district judge recently issued an injunction forbidding the government from talking to tech companies about banning content. That's a good thing. When government holds the power to destroy a private business, even its suggestions are inherently coercive. So, for now, government is off the backs of Facebook, YouTube, and the rest. But that's not enough. These companies need to actually embrace the freedom they've been given and stop acting as the regime's censors. Tech companies are not innocent victims of government. According to Alliance Defending Freedom's Viewpoint Diversity Score, big tech has vague and subjective standards of free expression and shows serious signs of bias. Just because the government is no longer allowed to use its power to force these companies to be biased doesn't mean that they will automatically become free speech zones. They actually have to choose to be free and fair.
The Pepperdine Graduate School of Public Policy, for those considering careers in politics and policy.
All right. We're talking mortgage rates. We're having fun over here, right, Dan? Yes. It's swinging from chandeliers. All right, but it's about that time to get serious. It's about that time to take Balance of Nature. I do it every morning around this time. 31 whole fruits and veggies, which I can't even name 31 different fruits and veggies, but it's a really cool system. I went to their place in St. George, and they take the vegetables and the fruits, and they put them through a vacuum cold process, which turns it into a powder and stabilizes the maximum nutrient content, and then fill it up in those capsules. I take 6 a day, 6 fruits, 6 veggies, and during the day, if I get a sweet tooth, I just chew on one of those fruit tablets, and it's voila, I'm not hungry anymore. So get the nutrition your body needs. Get the nutrition your body craves, because good nutrition, well, it's the foundation of all aspects of health. The number to call, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago, or simply go online to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.